Hello everyone, my name is Kate Tanser. I'm a specialist sister at University Hospitals Plymouth NHS Trust from intensive care. I'm going to tell you the story that changed my life and the story that built the Rehab Legend campaign. In 2014, I read a patient story on a feedback questionnaire and it moved me to tears. I'm going to share it with you now in her own words so you can see what I mean. When I came home, I was barely able to walk. Physically, I had a long rehabilitation period ahead of me with no support given. But I was deeply traumatized by what had happened to me in intensive care. I had flashbacks, and I couldn't make sense of what had happened. I had very confused memories from ICU, some of which were from delirium and were unreal, but I didn't know which were true and which were false. I was also 12 weeks pregnant before my critical illness, so I was profoundly sad at the loss of my baby. It felt like my life had been torn apart. 3 months after my illness, my husband had a nervous breakdown over what he had gone through while I was ill. This lady is talking about post-intensive care syndrome. It's the triad of symptoms that we see in our patients after intensive care, with problems with mental health problems, cognitive impairment, and physical health problems too. We also see this in family members, with family members reporting problems with their mental health. I was so profoundly moved by this story and the understanding that these patients and our patients weren't having a good enough service to support them after intensive care, that we built a service and we built a team. This is the team. We've now got physiotherapy, animal-assisted intervention, psychology, data, and rehab outreach. So this is rehabilitation in intensive care. This is starting their rehabilitation pathway as soon as they are physiologically able to. So this gentleman, as you can see, he's standing with assistance. The reason why standing is so important and using long muscle groups is so important in intensive care is because the process of being intensive care can support profound muscle wastage. So we encourage patients to use their muscles and to get up and go. We encourage patients to sit on the edge of the bed early. We encourage patients to sit in chairs. We also encourage patients to do in-bed and in-chair cycling. We also encourage patients to feel more normal in intensive care and restore them back to their normal hobbies. This is a gentleman playing the guitar, and this is Hovis, our animal-assisted intervention team, who's coming in to support a patient with their recovery. Amazing things were happening across our department and across the trust, and we wanted a way to recognise and celebrate the effort and success. So we launched the Rehab Legend campaign. We shared patient stories with their consent, locally at first, and then saw the impact on services. So we added a hashtag and started our own Twitter presence. A Rehab Legend is anyone who's done anything to support, promote, or enhance rehabilitation. I think the best way to demonstrate the impact of Rehab Legend is to share some patient stories. So that's what we'll do now. This is a gentleman who was with us in January of 2018. He had a very nasty case of flu, and as you can see here, he's requiring multiple organ support. Shortly after this photograph was taken, he was taken to the Royal Brompton Hospital to have further support for his heart and lungs. Here he is at the Brompton Hospital in London. As you can see, he remains critically unwell. He stayed there until the end of March. He returned to us in April. He was globally weak and could only lift his fingertips. We knew we had a long road ahead of us, and we knew he was a rehab legend, so we started the plan to get him well. 1 week, I remember, he set himself the goal of walking. And, as you can see here, he nails it. A perfect rehab legend, supported by a rehab legend of 3 physiotherapists. This gentleman was discharged later on that month, and here's his team at the community hospital. We shared his story and all of our Rehab Legend stories online. We share them on social media so we can support our colleagues across the UK to recognise that everyone in every clinical team makes a difference to recovery. We shared this story online and had an amazing response. Very quickly, this had 35 retweets and 180 likes. We tried to map out all the different people who had cared and who had supported this gentleman upon his journey to prove the impact of teamwork in the NHS. We were thrilled when one of his team from London supported us and supported him with sending their love and support. We use the Rehab Legend campaign to share stories to motivate, innovate and challenge, and to support our Rehab Legend patients and our colleagues and services. This is the same gentleman this year. As you can see, he's living up to his Rehab Legend title. He's still got his badge at home and a light box. Look how happy his wife is. We're very proud of this gentleman and all of our Rehab Legends, in our patients, our loved ones and our colleagues. Here's another Rehab Legend story. This gentleman was working abroad last year when he was mugged, resulting in a spinal cord injury. After the attack, he was left for dead in a crocodile-infested river, and when repatriated to the UK, he had a prolonged intensive care stay. He loves dogs and describes himself as an outdoor person. It was this man and his dog that started our drive for our new Rehab Garden, a place where patients' dogs can visit and families can share time together outside. His main goal for his recovery was to see his daughter graduate. I'm incredibly pleased to say that she graduated recently. This Rehab Legend and his loved ones inspired us to build a new rehab garden for ICU, an ICU rehab space outside in the sun. Here he is helping us to design our new rehab garden. Hopefully we open in 2021. This is one of our patients wearing her Rehab Legend badge. As you can see, she's pretty proud. The impact of these badges has been significant. We send them out across the UK and across the world. And it's really lovely when we see on social media that patients, staff and loved ones all enjoy and are very proud of wearing their Rehab Legend badges. We started the Rehab Legend campaign in 2018 and we had no idea of how far it would go. We now have 17,000 tweets. We've sent out over 6,000 badges with 40.2 million impressions on social media with 4,000 users. Remember, we started off with 50 badges and 1 intensive care. We also have global coverage. We've been incredibly lucky to share the Rehab Legend campaign with both the European and the American ICU rehabilitation community. Here's some of the Rehab Legends that we met when we went to Amsterdam and Baltimore last year. What is particularly poignant for me is a lot of the papers and evidence base I used to build our service 3 years ago were authored by many of the people in these pictures. Here are some of our Rehab Legends, and I am certain that there are hundreds and thousands in your teams and hospitals. We celebrate the little things, share stories, and the impact has been palpable. Patients, loved ones, students, ancillary staff, animal-assisted intervention teams, doctors, managers, visitors, contractors, physiotherapists, procurement teams, everyone and anyone can be a Rehab Legend. The Rehab Legend campaign has supported and facilitated change by sharing stories and celebrating success in everyone. The Rehab Legend campaign embodies the principle that together we can achieve anything. I wish I could find the lady whose story started off this journey, to thank her for her bravery in sharing it. This presentation and the Rehab Legend campaign is therefore dedicated to her and to all of the amazing Rehab Legend staff, patients and their loved ones who've helped us shape and continue to help us shape and improve rehabilitation. If you would like to join the Rehab Legend campaign, go to rehablegend.com for more details, and we'd love to send you out some Rehab Legend badges for you and your colleagues. Thank you so much for listening.